Welcome back. It's time for a new Monday book reviews video. Today I'm giving you some scary short story recommendations. I've got three amazing books. It's Peel Back and See from Mike Thorn. This is a great book. I got it as an advanced reading copy, as an ebook. Mike Thorn was kind enough to send to me ahead of time. You could get online, I guess pre-order it. It's really good. I'll tell you more about it here in a moment. The second book will be Nicholas Gray's Graymatter, a collection of horror. He recently released this revised edition, and I was super excited to buy it and get it in the mail and read it. The third book today is Cameron Chaney's book, Autumncrow, which has been out for a while, but I wanted to read it because he recently announced on his YouTube channel that he's publishing a novel in this setting, and so I wanted to read this to prepare for that. I hope I don't seem too distracted right now. I apologize if I do. But there's been this huge announcement on YouTube, a collaborative project, people talking about it all over social media. I'm sure you heard about it. Reba McEntire and Dolly Parton have recorded a new version of Does He Love You? The music video came out on YouTube this week. Absolutely phenomenal. Even if you're not a huge fan of country music, just the fact that those two people finally got together for a collaborative project. Amazing. Alright, let's get to the stories. I think I'll tell you my favorite story from each collection. All of these I highly recommend. They are great in general if you enjoy horror, but especially during the spooky season and building up to Halloween. For Mike Thorn's book, Peel Back and See, it was really good. Mike Thorn has this cinematic quality to how he writes. It's visceral. You know, I can feel the emotions. And I like how he has characters make choices. You know, a lot of his stories very much come down to a character chooses to do something or not do something. And in a horror story, that really stands out to me. You know, there are weird and gross things, there are strange creatures, but ultimately you know those characters made a choice at some point and it got them into a situation. So my favorite story in this collection, which might be really different from yours, because I think just people with different tastes and opinions will have different favorites in these, is Mike Thorn's story At Gorgo Yama 2013. And it's written out like you would use on social media or online with the @ sign, at Gorgo Yama 2013. I really enjoyed this story because it deals with the idea of meeting someone that you have interacted with online, befriended on the internet, and then you're actually going to go meet the person in real life. And that in and of itself is a scary concept and an interesting situation. But the way that Mike Thorn tells this story and the weird, creepy things that happen each turn of the way, each step of the way, I was thinking, come on, man, leave, go home. Don't put up with these strange things happening. I don't want to tell you the twists and turns and give you the spoilers. It's just the first thing that happens is he's expecting to meet this guy there, the main character of the story, and instead there's a woman who shows up telling him this crazy story. That point right there is when the main character, Victor, should have just turned away, gone home. It's an awesome collection full of wonderful stories. I actually just saw Mike Thorn give an interview this weekend. He's always on YouTube. I think we should make him an honorary member of the Booktube community, even though he doesn't make his own Booktube videos. He's always giving interviews and appearing on people's channels. But I was in the live chat asking questions along with other people, and he was kind enough to tell me about the author's notes in the books. I asked if it's difficult to convince the publishers to include those, because I love his author notes. He talks about what inspired him to write each story, talks about the film connections and his own personal life experiences, but he said that no, it hasn't been a problem at all, that if he wants to include them, he just tells the publisher and they work with him and they make it happen. Our second book today is Nicholas Gray's Graymatter Revised Edition. This was a lot of fun as well. My favorite story out of this one, let me open the book up here. It's called Portal in the Woods. I actually put several sticky notes in this book because there are lines that I really liked. I have a physical copy of this book that I bought online and had Amazon mailed to me. But Portal in the Woods comes across with this sweet innocence at the beginning of it. Just these boyhood friends who have a treehouse and play together in the woods, and then something crazy happens. Some of the sticky notes that I have in the book are for the story Morbidio, which is also a really good story, and I put sticky notes down every time that the author Nicholas Gray used the word unjuicy undulating, because there's been all that controversy online, where Murphy Napier, one of the huge booktubers, has said she hates the word undulating, and then her friend Daniel Green paid all that money to have Sean Astin say undulating over and over again. So that word stood out to me. I love that it's a horror story and it has the word undulating in it over and over. Again, another great collection of scary stories. After that, a lot of the stories have cosmic horror kind of creatures where ordinary animals and creatures and things turn into these weird things with tentacles and weird limbs and growths. Something you'd see out of a lot of weird horror movies, cosmic horror, H.P. Lovecraft inspired kind of stuff. Those are neat as well. If you enjoy weird creature, monster, cosmic horror stories, I highly recommend it. Alright, our third book for today that I'm recommending, these are all short story collections. Lots of stories in them that you can read. Though some of these stories really are novella-length stories. Some of them really go beyond what you would expect. You know, a few pages, maybe 20 pages. I think the point at which you're looking at 35 or more pages, a lot of people might call that novella length, especially as they get longer. And anyway, this third book is from Cameron Chaney called Autumncrow. I love the little slogan, "Every night is Halloween in Autumncrow." It's got that great nostalgic feeling, like a Goosebumps book, something you would have read in the 80s or 90s if you grew up in that time period. And again, like I was saying with that first story in Nicholas Gray's book, there's a lot of sweet innocence in this book. You know, kids going trick-or-treating, or a kid out in a field on the farm finding some strange magical thing. If you like those kind of stories, you're really going to love this book. I noted my favorite story in this one is called Burnt Brownies. This story is full of twists and turns. It is full of drama and emotion, and it's got one of those endings that once you read it, you go, man, I should have seen that coming. The ending for this story, I was like, oh, he got me. He got me with the ending. But there was plenty of foreshadowing. The clues were there. I should have seen it. I like Burnt Brownies because of the interaction of the siblings. It's an older girl, like a teenager, with a younger boy. The mom is busy working. The dad is divorced, not with the family. The older girl is supposed to take care of her younger brother, but she's got a boyfriend and her own affairs and drama and things going on. So she doesn't want to take him trick-or-treating, doesn't want to hang out with him. She thinks she's a good sister, but her actions really are not showing her as being a good sister. There are some great twists, really interesting, but I enjoyed all these stories. You know, like I was saying with the other books, there's a lot in here. Just from the beginning, the first story welcomes you in. The second story really gives you a sense of the enchantment and the magic of the city, and then it just keeps building from there. 3 great books that you can read this month to get the spooky season vibe, to really feel it. Or you could read them any time of year. If you're a fan of horror, you're going to enjoy these, whether it's the spooky season or not. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention another big announcement that happened with social media and on YouTube this week, which is this short story collection, We're Not Home, a horror anthology. It actually has a release date of October 20th. My short story, The Ghost of Walt Whitman, is in that collection. The publisher, editor of the book, Cam Wolf, was kind enough to send us authors a proof copy so we could preview the book ahead of time. I've read half the stories. I'm about to go read the other half when I finish recording this video. I don't know if I'm going to sleep or not, but it's fine. I've got the day off work. Such a great collection of stories. I know I'm biased. I know I've got a story in there, but it's been absolutely delightful for me reading what the other authors wrote for this collection. So I will shamelessly plug that book as well. At least the first half, what I've read so far. It's another great collection of scary stories that you could read. Though my story is set at spring break, it's not set during the Halloween time like Autumncrow. But man, a lot of scary things can happen when you are not at home, when you are out traveling, and especially during a spring break situation. Hope you've enjoyed the video today. Every day is a good day for a book talk. Peace.